Welcome back to Lift Talk. This is episode 35. I am here with John and Kelvin. Boys, welcome.
Hello.
And
Thank you.
I guess the first part of this podcast is a little bit of an announcement. We have a new coach on the team.
It's John.
He's
Welcome,
thanks.
John.
it's the other Asian guy on the couch. Kelvin, welcome to the coaching team,
Thank
man.
you very much. Thanks, guys.
And in one day of being here, you made a post about being part of the team and made a reel and already made me look bad by doing more work than I have the
I'm
whole
just
time.
doing my job, man.
So yeah, tell me about your thoughts on joining the team and you know all that stuff.
Yeah, I've got a funny story, if I can share. I was here.
No, sorry, you're not allowed.
Oh, okay, well, all you, John. No, I'm kidding. That's fine. I was here the other day filming some content with Val, and John and Greta were upstairs packing orders, and John called me upstairs, and he's like, "Hey, Kelvin, can you come upstairs?" I thought he needed help packing orders because he told me that
Just
day.
grabbing random people on the gym floor to fucking
I thought
do
you
work.
needed help carrying shit like around the warehouse, and so I went upstairs with the expectation of like, yeah, like what kind of help were you with? And then John and Greta started talking about like, oh, we've been talking about having a new coach and stuff like that, and that's how the conversation started. But yeah, so far it's been really good. Like my first few interactions with John, I think we got along really well. We're both Asian, which is pretty cool.
Both grew up in the hood.
We both grew up in the hood, both surname Tran, which is pretty cool.
Not related.
But we're not related, no.
I'm not going to be in the clique anymore.
Alex,
Wyatt didn't grow up in the hood.
You just stay in that seat.
I was going to stay over here on my own.
But no, like everyone's been really welcoming, and it's really nice to see some people that I only see at like comps, or like last time I saw them was at nationals. And just being very like, it feels familiar. It feels really nice. And I was training here the other day, and people were like, "Yeah, it's awesome to see you here. Are you training?" Some people were like, "Are you actually training here? Like, are you actually going to be here?" And I'm like, "Yeah, man. Like, I work here now." So yeah, that's been pretty cool, and it's felt really really warm, which is great.
Yeah, I had very similar thoughts when I joined. So I joined on different circumstances. The gym that I worked for just went bankrupt. And I called John, having known John for years and years, probably like 5 years at that point, called him and I was like, man, I need someone to take my business. And he was like, come on in, literally started the next day.
Yeah,
And
nice.
from that first day, it was like I'd been there for years.
Yeah.
Obviously, because I'd already, coached at the comp so many times, trained there multiple times, and it just felt very welcoming, like you said. When we first had the conversation around bringing a coach on, you were actually the first name that I brought up.
Thank you.
And the reason for that was because like we wanted someone young. We wanted someone very like keen and very positive.
Yeah.
And also someone who like would bring a lot to the table in terms of ideas. And yeah, that was kind of my thoughts behind
That's cool.
you coming on.
Thank you very much.
I did think that you were actually a little bit too far established
Yeah,
to
right.
start on as a new coach. But
Yeah.
and I also kind of thought you already had conflicting work with all in
interests,
barbell,
yeah.
but turns out you were kind of not really working there. You were kind of just there.
Yeah, it's definitely my home gym. Like it's probably the closest powerlifting gym to me, to my residence. But yeah, like when you guys approached me, I think it was just a really good opportunity. Given that I think that I'm still trying to build my own personal brand, build my coaching business, and by being, I guess, like connected to a platform like City Strength, not only is it going to, I guess, help me continue to establish that personal brand and that coaching business, but grow it as well, which is definitely what I want to do, and grow alongside the gym, grow alongside like HQ. Yeah. Any thoughts, John?
Jeez, I think you guys covered it pretty well already.
You just keep sipping on your coffee.
I'll just keep sipping my coffee. No, like Alex said, like you were the first name that came to mind. I mean, part of that will be influenced by our interactions.
Yeah.
Like, we got along where we found out that when you still live there, and like, well, I was from the area.
The area.
And yeah, there's also the affinity of like knowing someone from the same area that you grew up in. Like there's a connection there. We can talk about like, you've been to that hardware shop or this butcher or whatever. That's the same place. But incidentally, we're both in powerlifting. And I think for me, when I first ventured into like the powerlifting world, there were no other like Asian people from the area in it at all. Not that I knew of anyway. There was very few. and now there's heaps. And then to speak to someone that's like yourself, who's up and coming and looking very ambitious and looking at like expanding your brand and everything else, was refreshing. So you were the first one that came to my mind, and same with Greta.
Yeah.
So yeah, very happy to have you on board.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
You know, we hope the three of us, the brains trust, to be able to take this further and further.
I'm super grateful for the opportunity, and thank you for recognizing myself and as a coach. And I think I'm very keen to see what I can bring to the table. And even like the conversation that we had the other day on Tuesday, I sat down with John for about almost 2 hours, and we're just like talking about my ideas and just giving him questions to think about. And I'm keen for more of those with yourself as well, Alex, and with Greta when she's back from South Africa.
South Africa.
Yeah, very keen.
Yeah.
I'm very excited.
My first memory of you, Kelvin, was actually it's a good one.
No.
Actually, I don't know if it's a good one or not because you reminded me of myself.
Oh, okay.
Because when
is
I
that
started,
good or bad, though?
well, that's what I'm saying. I don't know. That's up for interpretation. Because when I started, I was in 74 weight class, same as you. Desperately needed to go up weight classes as you did. Also at the same time, like trying to develop as a coach.
Yeah.
I could just see a lot of myself in you and a lot of like ambition and like keenness to get involved. That was my first time.
When
sort of
did we
seeing
first? I don't even remember our first
I
interaction.
don't know when we first actually met.
Yeah.
But like I've seen you on Instagram.
Yeah.
Through Potsy's Instagram and stuff for years.
Ours was at the coaching course.
Yes, as at the infamous
Redacted.
Coaching course. But
place that should not be
redacted
named.
Canberra.
Redacted coaching course in fucking Canberra.
In bloody Canberra, because we missed the Sydney one.
Yeah.
And funnily enough, like we had that conversation. I'm like, oh, okay, met this guy. I was doing great. I'm like, oh, this guy's, he lives in Canberra.
Yeah.
And then I think our next direct interaction. Can I tell people that's on? Greta and I turned up to Wall's End to park the car.
That was
like
it was
States.
Yeah, junior states or open states.
It was open states, and
God.
there's a car that comes around behind us. We had just gotten out of the car, and Val was with us.
Yes,
actually. Val was with us, and this car does a U-turn, and I don't know, Alex, you remember Wall's End? The streets are like the gutters are really deep because the street is
They're so curved.
They're bowed, like they're very curved.
Yeah.
Anyway, this car comes around, does a U-turn, drives into the curb, but also like just smashes into the driveway. I look, and it's Kelvin.
It's like, this huge sound
Mounted the car.
I look to my right. It's fucking John, Greta, and Val just looking at me, and I'm like,
Oops.
I'm going to reverse now.
The car's on three wheels.
It's one of those moments.
I'm like, it's Kelvin.
It's one of those moments where you look around and see if anyone saw you. And if they don't, you're like, oh, thank God. But if they do,
just
you're
happened
like,
to be
oh,
John,
shit.
Greta, and Val.
It's way more embarrassing if you know
owners
the
of City
people as well. Yeah.
So yeah, that
classic.
was pretty embarrassing.
That was pretty funny.
But
So-
here we are.
I guess the first topic for today is like, what do we see as the future of the gym? John, I'll let you go first because this is your gym. Where do we
The future
see
of the gym.
Where do we see City Strength HQ going?
Taking over the world. No. And
that's what you said to me, right?
We covered this in conversation. I don't necessarily need this to be the gym doesn't need to be like
a money printing machine.
it'd be nice, but let's face it, it's nice. But that's not the goal. The goal for City Strength HQ is to be. It's more of a branding and marketing exercise. We want to be seen as the premier gym in Sydney, at least in this part of the Sydney, with good coaches that can represent the community, the thriving community that we have, and the one we're aiming to build to be inclusive and be a safe space for everyone. That's the main thing. It's not about necessarily hitting a certain revenue target or like a certain number of members. I mean, they're all secondary because ultimately there is a commerciality to running a business and running a gym. But that is not the biggest goal. Like whether we like it or not, the gym is always going to be associated to some extent to City Strength, the online store. And I see the gym as our way to contribute back to the community that we sell to on the online store where they require equipment and things like that.
Yeah.
It's our way to run comps and be able to like coach people and get people interested and interactive and excited about powerlifting and contribute back to that community.
Yeah, the way I see it is like the what's it called? Like the mantra of the gym is the home of powerlifting, right? Is that what it is? Or the heart of
Powerlifting.
powerlifting. And that's like exactly what it really embodies. It's like we want to be at the heart of everything.
Yep.
And we want to be a place where like everyone can feel welcome, everyone can feel empowered to improve, everyone can be themselves. And like, yeah, we want to be a welcoming place for people to come and enjoy the sport on their own terms.
Yeah, spot on. That's exactly it.
I think what places HQ in such a unique position is that it has the e-commerce side of things backing itself financially, if that makes sense. Whereas other gyms, they kind of need they need their memberships to grow and thrive in order to make money.
Yeah.
And I think that places the gym in a unique position because we don't really, I'm not saying we don't need to, focus about memberships or numbers, but it's like we can focus a lot on more the culture side of things, the community side of things, without having to necessarily stress and pull our hair out about like, oh, we didn't grow in memberships.
Yeah, it gives us opportunity to experiment.
Yeah.
A little bit more. We've got a little bit more freedom to experiment because of that. And I feel like we use the gym as a means of, like Alex said, being at the heart of our life, but staying connected to the community. Because that's, I think, especially for me and Greta, that's a really important part of, yes, we have these businesses, but like being involved and being connected to the community is really important to us.
Yeah, it's more than just being a nameless brand or a faceless brand. It's literally being there for everyone and people being like, oh, that's the guy who runs City Strength. Yeah. That's the woman who runs City
Strength.
Strength.
That's why we run comps. That's why we referee. That's why we, spot and load and coach and everything else. It's to be in it because we love it. This is what we do.
Something you mentioned, Kel, was culture. What does that mean to you?
I think culture, it firstly is super important in a space like a gym. And I think culture really is representative of the people that you have in the gym. And that's what makes it, right?
So as coaches and sort of like, I guess, leaders of the culture, what should we be trying to instill in?
I think both John and yourself covered essentially inclusivity as one of the main principles. And I think that's definitely something that I've experienced so far in my time training here. Like everyone is, like I said, so welcoming. And so like everyone talks to each other, which is great. But at the same time, everyone's doing their own thing. Everyone's happy to train and get shit done, which is really, really cool. Obviously, as like I spend more time here, that is going to develop, and my own perception and how I see things are going to develop as I interact with more members. But from what I can see already, I think the culture here is, like I said, very inclusive, very welcoming. And I think everyone's they're here because they're just passionate about powerlifting. And that's what we want to do. For me personally, I'd love to get more outreach to more people to get them involved in powerlifting. And I think that's a target that, like a market that I really want to engage with because I just want more people to just see how like freaking awesome this sport is. Yeah, that's what I really want to do.
How about you, John? What does the culture mean to you? The culture of this gym, what does it mean to you?
What does it mean to me? It means everything. I mean, ultimately, the culture usually follows the leaders in it, and that is the coaches. Unfortunately, due to work and time constraints, I'm not able to contribute that as much as I'd like to. And that's part of the reason why we brought Kelvin on, is to help instill that together with yourself.
Yeah, I can't be here 24 hours a day, unfortunately.
Not with 2 kids.
I'd like to. I'd prefer to be here.
You might be divorced.
Chrissy doesn't listen, so I'm safe.
But also, I also feel like people from different experiences, different backgrounds, especially coaches, can only enrich the culture. Like I suppose what you don't necessarily want is everyone who's just all the same. Like we celebrate that diversity, that diverse a spread of opinions, even if it's like training opinions, or you can have arguments and debates about training, which is very commonplace. But that adds to the culture. Like we can all agree, disagree, and actually learn from each other, from people with different walks of life, and it's just an enriching process.
Yeah. For me, culture, like you said, it does come from the top, and we want to be encouraging. We don't want to be like sort of dictators, because we've seen gyms that have these couple of coaches at the top, and if it's their way or the highway, and we don't want to be like that. We want to be welcoming. We want to allow people to enjoy powerlifting on their own terms, and that could be You know, we've got people in here like Yanni who want to be national champion. Like Kelvin, one day you probably want to be national champion.
Of course.
We've got other people in who are lifting a barbell for the first time.
Yeah.
And we want to make it very clear to everyone who is here that they're all equal and that the person who squats 40 kilos is just as welcomed to use that rack as a person who squats 340 kilos. And I think that's really, really important as well. Any other points?
I think that what you just mentioned also reflects in ourselves as coaches, like our own coaching principles and our coaching philosophies, where I've had conversations with you, Alex, where we've spoken briefly about like how we coach, and we're very open. We're very, firstly, transparent to our clients, but we're also open in the way that we coach. And like, if this works, it works, you know. And if you know, something that doesn't seem like theoretically shouldn't works for a client, then we're happy to sort of like run with it. And I think that sort of principle, that sort of idea translates or carries through to the way that we treat people, right? Like, if it works, it works. If what you're doing works, run with it, you know?
Yeah. The biggest part of coaching is individualization, and most of that comes from psychology.
Yeah.
It's what does that person...
And understanding the client.
Yeah, what does that person actually believe will work for them? That's probably
buy-in.
more likely to work for them, like all that buy-in stuff that we've spoken about ad nauseum. What about, did I miss anything, John?
I think just to add to that, I think one of the things I pride on, and we've talked about this before, is that we don't necessarily have like a city strength method, right? The method is you guys mostly coach, and I just do a handful of people, but we do our own thing, and we probably agree on like 95, 99% of the principles and the way we do things. But it's the differences that make us unique, and make us special, and that should be celebrated. I'm not necessarily tied into the idea of, because I have been asked before, like, oh, what is the city strength training method or coaching method?
Right.
I'm like, there is none. There are principles you abide by, and you know, we can all agree that we all, due to our own experiences, lean or bias certain things. Like, you know, you and I have spoken about like accessories or way we program general training blocks. Like, I really push very, very generalized different movement patterns a lot, and I push them really hard. And you tend to, what was one of the things you said? Oh, you ask clients what exercises
do you like?
You ask them that what they like. Whereas I straight off the bat will prescribe a whole bunch of exercises, and then I see, for me, which ones they enjoy or don't enjoy or find challenging. It's almost like I use the initial general training block as a fact-finding mission to find out and to see like if they're more compliant on certain types of exercises than others.
Yep.
And I won't tell them.
Yeah, right.
And that's the differences that I feel like.
Yeah, and I think like
celebrated.
all of this kind of just highlights the idea that like the training that needs to be done to improve or get you moving forward is so varied. Like the bucket we can pull from to get someone to improve is so huge that when we have people having these arguments over these tiny little minutia, this versus this, or RP versus percentage, or sets of 3 versus sets of 5, like arguing these small little details is just completely missing the point.
Yeah.
And like those small little details, they matter for the individual, but at the individual level. But globally, we can't say that one is better than the other, which is why like having a quote unquote method for everyone is probably not ideal. And trying to develop that method for that individual person is probably the way to go.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I think like that ties into the community aspect of it, because like I can see someone doing training that I may not think is the best idea. I can see them doing it, but I can also see them getting better. So who am I to sit here and say like, oh, your coach has it wrong?
Yeah.
Like that's not really what it's all about. I guess the city strength way is like, it's unrelated to training methods. It's more about
People.
communication,
Enjoying
how you
training.
treat people, training hard,
Yeah.
enjoying yourself, having a laugh, being social, being part of the community. Like those are the things that are really the city strength way. That's the city strength method. It's not, RPE versus percentage or 3x5 versus fucking 3x3. Like that stuff's
10 by 10.
stuff's almost irrelevant.
10 by 10 or nothing.
It's the others. Yeah, except for the 10 by 10 bench and the machine gun bench. That's obviously necessary completely. But yeah, it's the softer skills of the powerlifting coaching, the softer skills of community development and like, you know, being a coach is about communication. It's about listening to people, about actually like trying to understand them as a person, less about, you know, manipulating programming variables and blah, blah.
100%.
The fact that we all agree on this without having discussed this in depth or in detail before this actual conversation just goes to show like this is the sort of culture that we want. This is the sort of culture that we're trying to lead and to what's the word? Not marinate.
Nurture?
Nurture. Yeah. To marinate at the gym.
It's the Asian.
I'm glad you were here, John, because I had no idea where you was at.
To nurture at the gym.
Yeah, no, there's pork chops at home.
Yeah. There is.
All right, so let's go to what you want to talk about today, John, which is,
What I want to talk about.
well, you mentioned this in the group chat, with some of the ideas we've had in coaching that we can now look back and laugh at.
Oh, God.
And again, this kind of stuff is like, it's lighthearted, it's funny, it doesn't really matter. And it probably, some of these methods are probably actually would still work and would still be useful, and some people would still use and get great results from.
No.
Do you
Nah.
do you have any that you can
I'm
recall off the
curious
top
to
of your
hear
head?
from you guys because obviously I'm a bit new in the game, and when I first started coaching, I got into like progressive methodologies and principles quite quickly. I didn't really fall into any deep rabbit holes, so I'm keen.
I'll preface this by when I started, and I think we've covered this in like one of the other episodes that we did. There was very limited resources around.
Yeah.
Anything you do on the internet was pretty much Louis Simmons, West Side, or 531 was coming, and starting strength was starting to come around. But actually, most of the info came out of West Side Barbell, without any context. You know, there's no reference in the text that they were wearing multiply suits.
Yeah, and they were probably super heavyweight as well, right?
Mostly.
Mostly, yeah. Super heavyweight.
Super heavyweights and all enhanced.
Yeah, all enhanced, multiply. No reference to like the enhanced or the multiply. It was just cool because they had to put Pitbull on the cover, right? So
It just looked cool.
They just look cool. You know, I bought the method. All
To be
the
fair,
methods
they
books.
still look cool, and I still think
No,
they
they
look
do
cool.
not. That's terrible. But one of the faux pas I did was, I made my clients do West Side style. I want to say it's West Side. It's not West Side unless you did it under Louis Simmons, but like West Side style training, where they have a max effort box squat thing. And actually,
Holy shit.
the way they structured stuff
awesome.
like that from a PT standpoint was kind of easy
Yeah.
to put into like your PT sessions.
It was very easy to program that way.
It was very easy. It was
Really easy.
Yeah, real easy. And there'll be like a speed day, so it did all that. I remember walking over to Mitre 10 in the city, going, "Do you have chains?" And they're like, "Yeah." Pointed to the floor, and there's like a bucket of chains.
Oh shit.
And I'm like, "Oh, cool! I'll take the whole bucket." And I took it back to the gym. I lugged it back to the gym. That was like, I think it was 18 kilos, like in a bucket of chains. And I realized that's not enough. So like went back there the following week
want more chains.
to buy their upper bucket of chains and then carabiners, and basically set up my own chain setup in the commercial gym.
Holy
The
shit.
biggest racket.
I hate the sound of chains in gyms, man. Like it's just so loud.
Mate, you wanna attract all the gym bros, be a personal trainer, attach chains to the barbell, get your clients to squat. All the gym bros start looking. Everyone thinks it's the best thing ever.
Yeah, I know.
It's
that,
like
that would
a
have been
car-
a really good marketing tool.
It's like it is. It's
Do we
like a
have
car
any
with a
here?
loud
I want to do
exhaust.
some change.
Huh?
I want to do chains today. Do we have any chains here?
No, I sold them
Ah, damn it.
to some other idiot.
Were
who
they the
believed
same
in-
ones, though, that you still had?
Huh?
Were they the same ones that you still had?
Yeah, you might have saw them at Lyft. I had them at Lyft for a
Oh,
little
that's
bit.
sick.
I mean, ultimately, it's accommodating resistance. It's actually good fun in that the actual training stimulus was questionable, at least for the application I used it for. But the loading, the sensation of the loading as you did them was
That would have felt mad.
it was pretty fun.
Well, it's light in the bottom, and then
Yeah.
as you press through, it gets heavier and heavier.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
it's like-
especially for
it's
squatting.
It's for like overcoming weak points,
For squatting,
for,
it was
building velocity through heavier, whatever.
Yeah,
Whatever
look-
the theory is.
Speed, like
short of-
velocity and speed.
short of buying a Tendo unit to
Yeah.
measure bar speed velocity.
Yeah,
So did that. So the whole West Side Circus did that, and then went through a phase of 531 where like complete opposite. Instead of doing like heaps of other non-specific exercises, went super specific, followed by like sled pulls
Oh shit.
en masse.
Yeah.
And there was like boring but big.
Yeah.
So all my clients did boring but big. So they were all the same things that I did, and then got them to do dips with chains and look hectic.
Yeah.
This with chain is still pretty cool. I would do them.
Dips with chains are cool. Just
Yeah.
chain around the neck.
Yeah.
Yeah, just
all
don't
time.
put it on anyone who has long hair. As I subsequently found out. Not a good idea. Not me, obviously.
What? What do you mean? I thought you had long hair.
What else did I do? I did go through a small phase of Mark Ripto hip drive
Yeah.
because his explanation made sense until I pulled out an anatomy book. And then I was like, oh, there's actually a biomechanics or some movement book. And I'm like, this doesn't.
You mean teaching the squat in that way?
Yeah, him teaching
Yeah.
the squat with, the bar, your wrists over the bar, and then primarily driving it through like your
glutes.
hips.
Yeah.
So you
Sit
you
back.
almost forcibly do a stripper squat,
Yeah.
or stripper squat type thing.
And almost no one can get to depth like that.
No one got to depth, no one good squats that way, even back then.
Oh, well,
Guys in wraps.
in West
would-
Side
would
and in
squat that way.
Equipped, guys will squat like that because they're sitting into the suit.
Yeah, but that's them trying to potentiate the suit.
Yeah.
It's a different thing. Like
It
Mark
is, yeah.
Ripto was talking about building people for weightlifting.
Yeah, yeah.
Actually
Squatting like that for weightlifting.
squatting like that for weightlifting.
shit.
And I think it dawned on me. I started questioning it where I think it was on a podcast with Chad Wesley Smith and Max Ada, the Juggernaut one, where someone correct me on this. I could be wrong.
That
but
was actually the first good lifting podcast,
it was
the Juggernaut
I
one.
li- I
And then
listened to
they
that
went a bit
consistently.
rogue and went, now they don't do any.
Well, they did beers with Chad and it went downhill. But I think Max Ada said if this produces great weightlifters, then where are they? If squatting like this produces great weightlifters, where are they? Then why?
Yeah, why are all the best weightlifters Chinese and squat literally bolt upright?
Yeah,
completely
like the best
upright?
thing to prove your point is to actually do it.
Have results.
Yeah.
And have results to show it. And the same thing for Louis Simmons, because Louis Simmons used to say,
Well, Louis Simmons actually got results.
no, but Louis Simmons actually dissed all the weightlifting coaches of the US and said he could do better.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
He definitely would have been able to do better.
sure, just enough needles.
Pump him with gear and
Yeah.
get a pit bull out the front guarding the place.
Yeah.
When I think back to like all of the bullshit coaching mistakes or even just lifting mistakes that I've made, if you go back on my Instagram and you look through like I used to do these black square posts with white text on them, and they were mostly just me not complaining, but me basically dissing older me for doing something stupid. And it was like always like some pretty like clickbaity title, basically like don't do this or like here's why this is stupid or whatever. Those are all because of mistakes that I've made or mistakes that I've seen made or
You
mistakes I've
still
made in
post
my
some on your
coaching.
stories.
Yeah, I
sometimes.
still do. And it's literally 90% of those come from my own like learned experience of what not to do.
Yeah.
The one that comes to mind now is using estimated 1RM calculators. And this is something that I did. This is something that I did in one of my first ever training blocks with my first coach, Hanny Jazzarelli. He got me to do like a couple volume blocks. I was like, building nicely, getting stronger. And then he's like, all right, we're going to do an AMRAP testing at the end of the block. And I did the AMRAP testing, like, got like 10 reps on everything. That was like 80% 1RM. So like I was getting stronger. And I plugged the squat max into a 1RM calculator. And I think I got 165 for, I think it was 13 at the time.
What was the estimation?
This was like 2015. This was a long time ago. I think I did 165 for 13. And I plugged into the calculator and it said that my max was like 225. And at the time, my max was like 190. And I was like, fuck yeah, I've gotten 35 kilos stronger. This is so good. And then I was the whole time prepping for that comp. The comp was maybe like 10 weeks after this. Whole time prepping for that comp, I'm like, so keen. I'm going to squat 225. I did 210, which was a
that's not bad.
huge
That's
improvement.
10% off.
But way off the 1RM calculator. And then from that, and I actually made a post saying E1RMs are fucking stupid. And that was birthed off of my own learned experience that they aren't very accurate, and particularly not accurate the higher the reps go.
Yeah. Yeah, because your data gets skewed, right?
Yeah. And then
what-
another thing on a similar point, this is something that I used to do my first iteration of coaching powerlifting, like literally 11 years ago. This was something that I would do in the program. I would input training maxes in for someone. It would spit out like a fully percentage-based program. They'd do the program for 5 weeks. They'd do the AMRAPs at the end of the block, and then we'd plug in those new maxes based off of the E1RMs, and then it would just
That's false
it would
hope,
just
dude.
destroy. Like everyone
That
would
is
just
such
be
false hope.
destroyed in that second block because now their weights would be up by like 30%. And
Oh, and there's percentage based on the next block as well.
Yeah,
Oh,
so
shit.
just stupidness.
Yeah.
How about you, Kel? Do you have any?
One thing that comes to mind is when I first started powerlifting coaching, which was probably like 4 years or 5 years ago. Something that I did was like something that worked for me, I would then apply to my client, and I think that's just it. Looking back at it now, I'm just like, that's so silly because obviously we're just talking about individualization like 10 minutes ago. But it was so easy for me to fall into that rabbit hole because I just wasn't educated. And I could recognize that. And when I did recognize that, I was like, man, like, what am I doing? Like, I can't be doing this and just giving my clients the same thing that works for me, obviously, because they're different.
But the logic of that is reasonable. It's like,
Yeah.
we are all humans. Like, we all have fucking 2 legs and 2 arms. We all have the same amount of bones in our body.
Yeah.
And we're all trying to do the same 3 movements.
Yeah.
So, like,
If
why?
this-
But it's if you think about it logically, like, why wouldn't 2 people who are reasonably similar in size and experience be able to improve off the same things?
That's true. There is some validity to it.
Yeah. I mean, like, it's not always true, but, like, it's a reasoned, logical
reasonable
thought.
assumption.
It's a reasoned thought initially.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was one of my things when I was a very young powerlifting coach. I mean, I'm still young now, but probably 4 years ago, I recognized that and I saw that, and I was like, man, like that's when that was probably the point where I realized I want to get way more educated, and that's when I started committing to like mentorships, and basically every quarter I tried to like sign up for a course, and I still do that now, just so I can just keep upskilling. But I think, recognizing that was very pivotal for me because that was when I realized, like, I got to start. If I want to get better, if I want to be a bit better powerlifting coach, I've got to start doing something different.
In a similar vein, and I just went on the JPS podcast and I told this story on that one. So excuse people who've listened to that, probably no one. In a similar vein to that is following your own athlete response and not looking too far out of that lens and not looking other places for, perhaps stuff that you see on Instagram, like, programming methods or particular exercise selection or whatever, or even just like technique manipulations, and focusing on what's actually going on in front of you with that individual. That's the important data you need, not the shit that you're seeing from outside, because that can
All the
just
trends
get
and
in the
shit,
way
right?
and
Yeah, it's very
create
easy to
noise in
get
the
carried away with that.
system, get carried away.
It's
and,
very easy to buy into something that
Yeah.
looks really good.
And you also, it also makes it confusing.
10 by
Like,
10.
If that's necessary, I've said that.
GVT.
It's like, it makes it confusing because you've got all this data in front of you, and if you only have that data to look at with that individual person, that's telling you all of the answers that you need. It can get confusing when you start to get information from other places that conflicts with that, and that's when you start to veer off into directions that you probably shouldn't with someone's program or with someone's guidance or technique or whatever that is counterintuitive to what you should do.
And I think the other thing is that it's like, as a coach, for me anyway, the experience that I've had when that has happened is like, they've been doing the same block for like, they've been doing the same thing for the past 3 blocks and it's working, but it's like, oh man, like, am I being what's the word? Like stagnant? Am I like not doing something? Like, should I be giving them more stimulus, or like they're not overloading in some sort of way? And you start to think in that sort of way. But yeah, like, you're exactly right. Seeing the individual right in front of you is all you really need.
Yeah. And as coaches, we can get pretty. I mean, we see this a lot less now than what we used to. Like, people do keep blocks more similar now to what they used to, and keep someone's prep from one prep to another. They'll try to make it as similar as they can so that it's repeatable and it's predictable. But yeah, not getting sidetracked and not. I've completely forgotten what I was going to say.
Talk about not
I
getting
got
sidetracked.
sidetracked. And then I forgot my point. Someone talk and I'll think.
Someone talk.
Yeah, good stuff, guys.
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, let's wrap
I suppose
it up.
one of the other things I used to be really guilty of was and now we know this not to be true, was to tell people not to do too much cardio or any other sort of activity outside of powerlifting, because it would interrupt their adaptations that they're trying to achieve. And now, I bought into the, cardio is that Spanish, that mentality. Mainly because actually what most people were saying it, and to me, I never really
questioned it.
I never questioned it. But we would see time and time again, like all we had to do was just look over at CrossFit. Like these people, like,
Man,
they're all jacked.
they're so
At least the higher level people
Yeah.
are all jacked. They're doing ridiculous amounts of volume and cardio to go with it. Like, didn't think to question at the time.
Completely agree. I remember my point now.
And that's
Rewind.
all, that's all the time we got, guys.
Chris, can you can you edit this in? So, yeah, we can get a little bit gun happy as coaches or trigger happy as coaches to make changes to try to prove our worth as a coach.
Yes.
But no change is still a coaching decision. And I think that's really important to remember is that, like, if something is going well, not changing it is the right coaching decision to continue it to go well.
Yeah.
Like, if it's going well and you make a change, you're actually detouring away. It's like if you're traveling somewhere and you've got your GPS on, you're like, man, we're making.
It's also you as a coach not thinking about your lifter.
Yeah,
you're
exactly.
thinking about yourself in that instance, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're trying to like feed your own ego. Like, fuck, I need to be doing more.
I got to jump on that trend.
Yeah,
I got to show other people that I can do it too.
Got to give everyone fatigue singles and fucking.
Yes.
What a
10 by 10.
hate that. Yeah. But 10 by 10 is necessary, Kelvin. But yeah, it's like if you're got your GPS on, you're going somewhere that you've never been before, and you're making good time, and you're cutting minutes off your ETA, and then all of a sudden you're like, let's turn off this road. I've got a good feeling about it. It's like you're just going away from the path that you want to be on.
That's a great analogy, yeah.
Just thought of that one.
It's good.
Thanks.
Cool. Good one.
Thanks.
Make that into a reel. You got it.
You can edit it for me. Another one I can talk on forever is fucking weight cuts.
Oh yeah.
Tell me about your weight cutting experience to 74s, because you're already like really jacked for 83 and you only went up 18 months ago or something.
Yeah, about a year and a bit ago.
Yeah, so like that just tells you like your body was just itching to go up.
Yeah.
So you must have had some hard cuts to 74 to 74.
Actually, I didn't. I didn't cut that much at 74. I stayed around like 70. So my very, very, very first comp, my first ever novice comp, I weighed in at like 77 or 78. So that should have been a sign already for me to not cut down to 74 and probably go 83. But the reason why I went to 74 was because I had another friend, another powerlifting, like someone else I knew in powerlifting, Tony Mai. He was in 74s.
Bro, he just squatted 270. That was crazy.
Bro, he's 93 now.
Crazy. That's
But he did.
impressive.
He had a big. He's got a big squat coming. He's competing as well. As
Yeah, I saw him on the list. That's sick.
Yeah. So he was in 74, and I was like, fuck, I want to compete with this guy. Like we were both sort of starting powerlifting together. He started a bit earlier than I did, but I wanted to compete with him, and that's why I went 74.
You know, that's funny because I had the exact opposite thought. So I started with a friend of mine, Doug, who we ended up, John knows Doug, we ended up going to Uzbekistan to compete for Australia together. He was the junior 83, I was the junior 74. And when we started, we were pretty much the same weight. And I was like, I don't want to compete against Doug, not because I wouldn't beat him or anything, but just like, I figure like, it's better off if we both go like different directions.
Right.
Like I kind of
You want to compete against your mate?
Yeah, it was almost like a conflict of interest.
A conflict of interest to go 83.
Anyway.
But yeah, like I basically went 74 because he was competing 74, and man, those.
Where do you think you'd be now as an 83 if you didn't?
Probably a lot stronger.
Yeah, that's the thing that I always think about. Is like the only reason I regret doing all the cuts wasn't because my performance at the time was bad, or wasn't because they were really hard. Like that was experience that I found worthy and useful, and particularly helpful with my clients now in what not to do. But it's more like you spend so much time in a deficit or just at maintenance when you're when you're a young boy with all this fucking testosterone
all the
and
hormones,
shit, and you think like how far you could have progressed during that time period when you were deliberately holding yourself back. It's like, yeah, that's my regret.
I actually, when I was coached by Tom Haynes for a bit, And when he had stopped powerlifting coaching, I had consults with both.
I'm really glad you called him Tom Haynes and not Tom Performotion.
Why?
Because I can't stand when people call people by the Instagram handle.
I had to stop coaching with Tom Haynes because he'd wrapped up his coaching with powerlifting. And I had a consult with Stephen Day and a consult with Potsy. Obviously, I went to Potsy. But Stephen Day in that consult was like, you need to go 83. Like, no matter what, you're going 83. And I didn't listen to him. And the next few comps at 74 were not great. So you should have listened to Stephen Day.
Did you ever bomb?
Yeah, bro.
Have you bombed, John?
I bombed twice, dude.
Did you?
Yeah.
Have you bombed, John?
No.
Yeah, no, I've never bombed either.
I bombed out at New South Wales States. And then
On what
because of
lift?
that, deadlifts.
On deadlifts?
On deadlifts, yeah.
How do you bomb on deadlifts?
Because I was cramping.
So you did have some rough cuts.
Oh, dude. Like my first few comps, all my comps as a 74, I'd always cramped.
Interesting.
Yeah. And because of that, I had to fucking travel to Canberra to compete in Canberra States, only to bomb out at the nationals that I was qualifying for.
Oh,
Did you bomb?
rough.
Did you bomb out at nationals too?
Yeah, dude.
Which
in
one?
Melbourne.
Melbourne?
The one at, what was that gym called?
Into
2020.
Into performance?
2020. Yeah, into performance.
Into performance, yeah.
Into performance.
2022?
Junior
Oh,
nationals.
junior nationals.
Junior
okay.
nationals.
Sorry, I forget.
I need to bomb
forget how
out
young you are.
on at junior nationals on deadlifts as well.
You bomb on deadlifts again?
Yep.
How do you bomb on
never bombed.
deadlifts?
That's it. I've never had to cut either.
Yeah.
Like do a massive cut.
We're
And
cutting
like-
for this comp.
Now,
I'm cutting for this comment. Yeah.
Here comes a bomb.
I have to get
toilet.
there.
Now I've got clients who are like, "Oh, I had a bad comp. Like, only went 8 for 9," and I'm like, "Bro, you like have a bad
No
comp,
idea.
dude. Trust me, you've got no idea where I've been through."
That's so funny. I always see stuff like that on Instagram, or like I see people who are like, "Oh man, so happy to hit this PB on bench. I haven't hit a bench PB in 4 months." I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? I haven't hit a bench PB in 2 years. Grow
Wait
up."
till you get backwards.
Yeah, grow up.
Yeah. Wait till you get back.
Wait till you go backwards.
Wait till you get older.
Yeah, wait till you get older. 100%.
Trying to think if there's any more. Another one that comes to mind is right around the time when I started coaching at Lift. So for people who don't know this, John was the coach at Lift when Lift opened
Yep.
from 2013 to 2016. Is that right? 2014.
Yeah, something like that.
Yeah.
Second half of 2013, yeah.
Yeah, so like about 3 years there.
Yeah.
John left to open City Strength, get a big warehouse for the store and open the gym there in Marrickville. And I took over John's job as the powerlifting coach. And around about that time, that was September 2016 when I took over.
Yeah.
I thought machines were useless.
What?
Oh, that was a thing at the time.
It was
That was a
such a
thing at
big
the time.
deal.
It was
Yeah.
all free weight stuff.
It was like you almost like had pride in being able to get a lot done with a little. It was
Yeah.
like, what do you need? What do you need for training your back? You do barbell rows, you do pull-ups, you do dumbbell rows. What
It was
what
a
do you
real
need?
minimalist attitude.
What do you need a lat pull down or a cable machine for? Like, what do you need that
right.
for? Or like, what do you do for extra tricep work? You just do some dips and some tricep push-ups and fucking whatever. More bench. What do you do for your legs? Just lunges and that's it.
Yeah.
And it was like, I reckon I went through like a 1 year period where I didn't program anyone a machine.
No, not just you though. There was a growing thing,
It
and it
was
came from like
definitely a
people
thing.
came from different angles about it. So like one would be like it's a badge of honor. I can get everything done with
badge of honor.
bare minimal. But then there was like the functional community where they'd say like it's not functional because you're sitting down, or it's not functional because you're
It's not full body. Like, you're not using your whole body.
Yeah, you're not using your whole
body's
body.
supposed to create the stability,
This
not the
is-
machine for
exactly.
you.
Yeah, there was a lot of that going around. So that was also it kind of gave rise. I mean, at this time, CrossFit gyms were booming.
Yeah.
It also gave rise to like the powerlifting gym that had no machines, i.e., City Strength version 1.
It was also like it was like a way for powerlifting gyms to like create this fake value because they didn't have the machine. So it's like, oh, we don't need them.
We're hardcore.
We don't have them because we don't need them, not because they're really expensive and we can't actually afford them, but we actually just don't even need them. And then I remember my first time using the pendulum squat at Lift. It was an Atlantis brand, which if you haven't used one of them,
Lift.
oh my God, unbelievable. Feels amazing. I was like,
It's also
well,
easier.
I'm never doing, it's way easier. You can chuck
The
more
Atlantis
plates on.
one is easier.
Yeah,
'cause
you can
it's a
chuck more
counterweight.
plates on. I remember being like, I'm never doing like a goblet squat or a front squat ever again in my life after doing this. Like
Same.
it feels amazing. So yeah, machines.
Machines are underrated.
Machines fucking rule.
Yeah.
I like
They're
would almost
definitely
give
underrated.
I almost give people nothing free weight other than
Do you feel like it's come full
SBD?
circle now, though? You feel like it's come full circle now that the education is out there. A lot more powerlifters are doing like quote unquote hypertrophy work or / power building.
Yeah, 100%. I feel like when you break down what actually improves powerlifting performance, there's three things: how much muscle you have, how's your technique, and the third one is like your nervous system, how you can like actually get yourself ready for lifting the heaviest weight. When you go to that, the muscle mass lens, like when you look at that muscle mass lens and you look at the training that you want to do to elevate that, it's things that are stable, things that target the muscles very, very specifically, things that don't create excessive fatigue in other muscles, things that don't require stability. And machines tick every single box. Yeah. Things that lend themselves to doing higher reps, things that lend themselves to doing more volume. Machines tick every single box there.
Yeah. They even make great coffee tables, like our bench row.
And they actually just feel way better. Like if you do like 6 sets of pull-ups, weighted pull-ups, or if you did 3 sets of cable rows and 3 sets of lat pull-downs, like how different would your joints feel? I know personally that my elbows and shoulders would be screaming after 6 sets of weighted pull-ups, whereas 6 sets of back work on machines, like I just feel like my muscles are full and I got to pump.
First, you have to be able to do 6 sets of weighted pull-ups. But
yeah, 1 rep each.
Yeah, 1 rep.
Do you have any more, Kelv? Any more you can think of?
Not off the top of my head right now.
I've got one to jump in.
Yeah, go on.
Training volume.
Okay.
So because of my exposure to that time where it was a very commonplace to go, people wore it a badge of honor that they were doing heaps of training because they downloaded this program. One of the program was Smolov. And then there'll be like Smolov Junior and variations for bench. And then the Shaco programs will be known as being this hardcore training programs to the point where people said, oh, you couldn't complete it unless you're on drugs. Now, if
Smolov, you mean?
Smolov and Shake, all the Shaco variations and programs. But if you actually go back and look them now, like training volumes back then, which were considered like out of this world, absolutely ridiculous. People do that now on the regular, right? If you include like their main lifts and accessories and everything else, it's people probably actually doing more lifting as a whole in terms of like kilos lifted versus compared to like the Smolov and the Shaco programs that are done now. The whole mindset back then was like, oh, you just had to lift fairly heavy and very minimally. People were so scared of like
volume, right?
They were so scared of like overtraining.
Yeah, right.
Overtraining.
Yeah,
they didn't even use the term.
Overtraining was a huge thing back then.
A huge thing. Everyone's scared of like teetering on it. No, you're not training hard enough.
I remember this one. This is such a funny story. I remember this one PT that I worked with. His name was Ben, and he was tiny. Like when I say tiny, I mean like 5'2" and like 55 kilos. Like he was tiny, and he loved powerlifting, but he never trained hard. And he was always like talking about teetering on the edge of overtraining. And this is back when I didn't know shit, but I was like, bro, you don't train hard at all. And literally every second week I would see him in the gym and he'd be warming up for squats and be like, not feeling it today, bit fatigued, might just deload. And it was like he would deload like every single week. Like I swear he never did 2 consecutive weeks of training without a deload or an intro week or whatever. His life was a deload. And there was a reason he was really small.
We need to find him and send him his podcast.
Sorry, put that on the t-shirt. Life's a deload.
Sorry, Ben, if you're listening. He was a good guy, but he didn't train hard enough.
But yeah, like overtraining and like training volume was a big thing. People were just scared of doing more training. And if you look at it now, that's what all people do. Like actually train way harder than they used to. I kind of
feel like people are still like concerned about that somewhat. Obviously, like it's a valid consideration, but like to go back to what we mentioned in the Bench Awards podcast, how we realize like so many other countries like the Japanese or the Europeans are pushing so much more bench volume than what we are doing here in Australia. And that's probably a reason why their bench is so much stronger. They've got so much more strong bench presses, besides probably the giraffe milk they're drinking in Europe or something. But yeah, like the amount of volume that they can handle is a lot more than we do, and it's probably because we just haven't been exposed to that.
Yeah, and that's exactly it. Is like volume is relative. It's what the individual can do.
Yeah.
And if you do slowly over time build it, you'll be able to do it more. Like you will. If you expose yourself to a stimulus, you will adapt to the stimulus because your body will go, hey, that was hard. I'm going to ensure that I grow and get better and recover so that it's not as hard next time. And then you go, oh, wait up, what up, body? Here's an extra set. And then gradually over time, you're doing way more. The problem is when people go from doing what they're doing now. So like I do currently 8 sets of bench per week, which is like,
What?
People laugh at me when I say that. That's all I can recover from because of my million shoulder injuries. And if I went from doing 8 sets a week to do what you did,
Yeah.
my body would explode.
Yeah, right.
But I could probably get there over time,
Yeah,
over
if
a
you
long
add
period
one
of time. But it
set.
might take me like 2 years to build to that level. Where I thought you were going with training volume, John, was when people actually calculate the number of kilos they lift.
Yeah, that's what I
Oh,
was
we
thinking
went
as
through
well.
that phase too.
Oh,
Yeah,
that
right.
Yeah.
fucking used to
It's just
annoy me
it's
so
just a
much.
formula
I'm
on a
doing
spreadsheet, right?
12,000
Yeah.
kilos of deadlift volume
It's
this
a tonnage.
block. It's
You
like,
measure it in
man,
tonnage.
Yeah.
It sounds cooler.
Man, I hated that. How do you measure training volume in your clients, Kelv?
I do measure it, like it's on the spreadsheet, but I'm not tracking it. Like it's not a metric that I
What do you look at then?
literally like what sort of outcomes they're getting out of the block. So like what sort of results, whether or not they're actually lifting more. In terms of volume itself, though, like what I'm finding with some clients is they perform best within like a range of training volume
Volume in terms of number of sets or in terms of kilos?
sets, but also the like total tonnage done that week.
Work done.
Yeah, the amount of work done that week. But sets also, yes, like amount of sets or also the amount of reps they would do in each set. But in terms of like what I would track specifically, literally the results they get. Because I don't think there needs to be more than that, realistically.
I mean, because at the end of the day, they've done what they've done. You can see the result, right?
Yeah, the results show for itself.
Doesn't matter if they've done more tonnage, but they failed half their lifts
Yeah, exactly.
in that process.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's so important. Did your 1RM go up? Yes.
Did you estimate 1RM?
Fucking good job.
How about you estimate 1RM? Yeah.
Yeah.
No, not that.
What's the next topic? Let me get my topic list, which you wrote, Kelvin. That was
I
your
did
first
write-
job for working
yeah.
here, was
Hope you
writing
guys
this
liked it.
topic list. Development of powerlifting coaching scene and powerlifting as a whole in Australia. So
So we're going to talk about that on the next one when we wrap up a Spitty Cup. Is that
oh
the
yeah,
plan?
we can do that. Well, I guess we can just.
No, we
be-
can.
We can keep talking if you want.
Oh, I got to be done in 20 minutes. That's heaps of time. No, I actually reckon we end it here and then we do more of these topics later.
So we just teased the audience about our next podcast.
Yeah, Chris, are you listening? He's not listening.
Cool. You'll have to cut it.
Yeah, you can cut this out, Chris.
I won't be doing that.
Okay, he's not cutting
Thanks,
it out. All right. Well, thanks for listening, everyone, and give us 5 stars on Spotify, and I'll talk to you all next week. Next week we have the SBD Cup preview show with me and Maddie Bartholomew, so make sure you check that one out. Ciao.
Ciao.
Bye-bye.